to get into it. So before we get started, this purpose of this show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in our community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because there's always room for improvement. Also, if you want to donate and helping keep Black media going, please watch the crawler or the screen below. And we have several ways that you can donate and help and keep the show going. We have a Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to the channel and become a member and join the super chat. So, Donovan, before we get into our very interesting topic, what say you?
Hey, you guys, hey, welcome to the Demetra K podcast. We told you guys we will be doing some extra stuff as we go into it because we had a lot of people saying they want us to put more content out there and stuff like that. Demetra's a very, very busy person. So, we try to do what we can to spread the message out there. And today is a very interesting topic. I think that I made a believer, or not me, but I think Demetra K is now a believer of what men have been saying. Like I said, Demetra, you say this all the time, Demetra. We need to listen to each other. We need to listen to each other. And you're absolutely right. When a man says, this is what I don't like, this is what's happening, whatever, and vice versa, we should listen because think about the movie Big Mama. Think about Shanae. Think about Wanda and all these shows, right? These are stereotypical Black women. Or is it? Respucia, exactly. Or is it? We're going to talk about that today.
All right, y'all. So y'all got the precursor. So anyway, today's podcast and show is called Dear Sistas, Please Quit Your Customer Service Job. Let me repeat that. Dear Sistas, please quit your customer service job. Now, what had happened was today, I went into Walmart and I had to transfer some money from my regular bank account to another bank account that I have that is out of state. Okay. Now, with my bank account that's out of state, it's a Black owned bank. And for whatever reason, it's hard to do money online. And then you go through hoops of fire. They can't help me over the phone. Listen, Black banks, if you're listening, y'all need to improve your services because the only reason I ain't just closed that account is because I pride myself in putting some money in a Black bank. But I digress. So I walked into the customer service part. You go into the Walmart and have customer service where you return stuff and you can do money transactions. All right. I waited 15 minutes. There was one sister behind the counter, waited 15 minutes. Now, the lady she was working with was clearly a thief because she was trying to return stuff. And the sister was like, oh, well, we don't have that here. And the white lady, is a white lady, says, oh, I must have got it from somewhere else. Or maybe I ordered online. Nah, you're stealing. But that ain't my business, okay? So finally, as I go up to the counter, I waited to be summoned because I know how some people are, especially sisters. If you walk up to the counter too fast, I didn't call you yet. So I waited patiently. And she says, next. All right. So as I walked up to the counter, I said, hello, how are you today? And I wasn't being rude. I was like, all right, well, you don't care how I'm doing. I'm going to ask you, hello, how are you today? I'm fine. So we kind of had a little standstill for a couple of seconds. So I said, all right, I need to transfer some money out of my regular bank account into my bank account out of state. We don't do that here. Now listen, I know y'all think I'm lying, but I am not lying. My daughter is a witness. I can have her come in here and hold her right hand up and say, God is my witness. She is telling the truth, okay? So we don't do that here. I said, well, I was told that you do, which is why I'm here. My bank says that you guys can do it in order for me to, put money in or whatever. Another way was to come in here and do it. Well, I don't know. We don't do that here. I said, now, mind you, okay, when she said it to me the second and third time, she leaned on the counter. Well, we don't do that here. So I have my mask on, and I had just got through walking at the park, so I had my hoodie on, and I had a beanie on, so all she could see is my eyes, okay? Thank God she wasn't able to see the rest of my face.
Right. So you had your ninja outfit on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was really dressed in all black, all the way down to the shoes. Okay. I'm still patient. I said, okay, well, can I speak to your manager? Because maybe they know how to do it, that you guys do this.
You want to speak with my manager? Okay, you can speak with my manager. It ain't going to make no difference. I'm going to speak with my... Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, ordinarily, that's an anticipated response, right? Do y'all know what this heifer told me? Well, she don't know how to do it either. Now, she said that to me as she's still laying on the counter with her hand on her hip. She don't know how to do it either. I said, how do you know she don't know how to do it? Oh, she don't. I said, that's fine. Can you get me somebody or a manager that I can speak to?
Quick question. This is a 20-year-old girl, with a city girl attitude or whatever. I'm just curious.
She's roughly our age, give or take.
Okay, you got to be specific because you're about 26. I'm 51.
Right, okay, so you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So she's close to your age, probably like 40 to 50, age range. I don't know. Maybe she had a hard life. Maybe she ain't that old. I don't know. But anyway, so I said, how do you know your manager can't do that? She looks. I said, I need to speak to somebody who can. So I'm stern at this point. I wasn't mean. I was stern. Do you know this heifer snapped her ass together and did my transaction in 30 seconds? She figured it out.
That's unusual.
Either she figured it out or she just didn't want to do it.
But isn't that her job to do customer service and to do her job?
Well, maybe her job was to just run toys and groceries to go back to where she didn't want to do, because on the thing, it says money transactions. You can do, Western Unions or whatever it is. So it's not like I Watusi'd my ass in somewhere that just was completely, and asked for something completely unreasonable. You're in customer service where they also do money services. So I got kind of perturbed, but I didn't lose my cool because I knew my end game was to get to somebody who was, because first of all, I waited in that line 15 minutes and watched you be nice to a scammer, but yet when I come up there, you had no customer service and you didn't exercise any soft skills at all, even to the point of next. What, you know what I'm saying? And so I was going to stay there until somebody helped me because I knew that's what they did there. I ain't crazy. So either she learned and it came back to her memory or she just didn't want to do it. So the point that I was making just a second ago is the part that really had me mad is how many people that really needed to get something done and you could do it, did you turn away? Because you have a nasty attitude and you're lazy so-and-so and you just didn't want to do it. Like I think of my father, who is an older gentleman. He's a senior citizen. Let's just keep it real. He's going to be 78 in 2 months. And I think about him getting out of the car, who, he's not as quick as he used to be. So it took him some time to dry there, get out the car, wait in line. And then he gets to your black ass. Yes, I said it. He gets to your black lazy ass. And then you turn somebody like him away who don't have the strength. Not saying my dad is stupid, because he's not. But he doesn't have the strength to go there with you after you done leaned your black ass on the counter and then tell me what you can't do and what your manager can't do. What if, because everybody, and I'm tooting my own horn. Toot-toot. Everybody ain't me. Because I know how to deal with people like that. I deal with people like that. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm going to go above your head. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, and let me tell y'all why. Because I don't want you, I know y'all, somebody's probably going to get mad and it ain't just black women. Facts. It ain't just black women. But black women do the absolute goddamn most. Excuse my French. But we do. We can't just be regular rude. whatever that is. We got to lean all on the counter. Well, she don't know how to do that either. We got to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't even know where I was going with that because it just really just pissed me off. But we have to stop making excuses for bad behavior. We honestly have to stop. Oh, I know where I was going with that. So last week, the end of last week, I have clients that I do work for that want me to be a mouthpiece for them. So this is what the point I was making. She could have got away with that with probably a lot of people, but she can't get away with that with me because, for one, I'm well versed on customer service and soft skills and those type of things. And I actually serve as a spokesman for people who need somebody to be a little bit more articulate. All right, so last week, I had to call an institution. I ain't going to say what it is, but I had to call an institution. And guess who answered the damn phone?
Rasputia.
Her sister, okay? Answered the phone. And I said, I need to speak to such and such. Why?
Mayor Turner. I need to speak to Mayor Turner.
It was a pretty, okay, I'll just give you guys, so, because I'll end up slipping this anyway. I had to call a prison, okay? And I needed to speak to the warden. Well, his receptionist, now in all fairness, I've called and spoke to his office before, and there was another sister who was cool, she was lovely, she was helpful, all of that. So I want to give her props. But the sister that answered the phone this time was rude, she was crass, she was just like, she should have been in the kitchen. They should have put her on kitchen detail, and she could sling slop to prisoners. That's the attitude that she had, okay? Well, why do you need to speak to him? I don't have a problem with telling you. But
yeah, but that's not part of her job, though, so.
Right. So when I told her why, oh, well, you know, that's not what he does. I said, ma'am, I said, I want to just let you in on something. I spoke to another receptionist that answered the phone a month ago, and she was very helpful, and she told me I could. In fact, she told me to call back up here when I had everything I needed everywhere else. I said, so how are you giving me different information? And I said, what is your name? Because that's how far she took me, right? Because I'm like, okay, do she think she's talking to one of the prisoners? I don't know. You shouldn't even be talking to the prisoners that way. But so then I said, what is your name? Espinosa. It was a sister. I said, is it first name, last name? That's my last name. I said, okay, great. Now point me to human resources or somebody above you. And she says, well, it ain't human resources. They just deal with time cards. I said, listen, you're right. That's what she said. I said, I know what they do. I said, okay, if you don't want to give me the HR, who do I talk to tell them about you and how you are speaking to people who are asking to speak to the warden? I said, you are the first person that represents the warden, and you talking to me crazy. Then she says, well, I don't know who that is. I said, hold my beer. I'm going to find out who that is. So I called back and spoke to the operator. She told me to go to a service that oversees the prison. She says, that's who you need to talk to.
Yeah, well, was this a private prison, may I ask?
I don't think, it's a state prison. It's a state prison.
Gotcha.
So I spoke to the other entity, and they said, wow, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I told them her name. They said, that's not his regular receptionist. I said, I know, because I spoke to her before. She was a sweet, lovely lady. She was helpful. She said, is there anything I needed to call back, which is why I did. And I said, that lady, Espinosa, her demeanor was so bad that I had to call 2 people to get to you. I said, because that's how bent I was on letting somebody know that she should not be answering the phone and talking to people the way she talked to me. And she says, I'm going to write this up and we're going to deal with that. I said, please do. And I usually, when I have to complain on people, I say, I'm not trying to get them fired, but I didn't say that this time. because she probably should have been fired.
Right. Do
Just,
you when you do something like that, do you usually put in a follow up? Do you do a follow up? See, I do a follow up.
it
I
depends
recently,
on what it is. If
yeah, because
I'm
I recent.
expecting something back,
Hmm.
then yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I recently did a Brown Act violation here in California on a illegal appointment,
Hmm.
and the DA hasn't got back to me to close the case out. I filed it, so I'm just asking you, as a person who does this kind of stuff, if I file some paperwork to make a complaint, shouldn't they have closed the case by now, or given me some paperwork saying we have resolved this problem, blah 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 blah?
Yeah, they should.
That's the process, right?
Yeah, a follow through, a follow up. Yeah, this is what you said, and this is what we did, right? So depending on what it is, I will follow up or ask for a follow up, back, a call back or whatever. But to me, I was satisfied with knowing that I complained and put it in somebody else's hands that you got a rude, ratchet, disrespectful person answering the phones. Because it's like when somebody calls your institution or whatever it is, you don't get on the defensive. Well, what do you need? That's what she said to me. What do you need? That's how you talking to people. Hello, how are you? Thank you for calling Warden such and such office. It's my pleasure. How can I help you? Now, because one thing I know about customer service, it is your job to find a way to tell them yes before you have to tell them no.
Right. Now, let me ask you this: as customer service, aren't you, since you're in customer service, aren't you the face of that organization?
Yes.
That you're the first person that a customer sees, and that's the impression the customer's going to get about how this company conducts itself. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're a young lady, putting tattoos on your face is not going to get you a corporate six-figure job on the scenes unless you're buying the bank or you got some skills that is beyond reproach, because somebody with a tattoo on their face will not sit in a bank as a customer service rep representing that bank. I have yet to see it.
Yeah, and I used to be a personal banker, and I would see bankers with tattoos on their feet and their hands, and even on their neck, and I'm like, oh my God, the old school bankers got to be rolling over in their grave because I personally, and this is just me, I'm one of those snooty people. Okay, if I'm going to do a banking transaction with you, and normally when you sit down with a personal banker, is because you're trying to move some money or you're opening an account. But the personal banker is getting commission off of whatever business they do, in addition to what they're getting paid. So if I am going into a bank and I'm going to move some money, open an account, whatever it is, and I have to sit across from you and you're tattooed all over the place, I'm not going to want to sit down with you. And I'm just keeping it real. Some people could say, well, that's not the time. Everybody got a tattoo. Well, I want to sit down with somebody. I ain't got to question them. I want to sit down with somebody who thought enough of me as a customer to not show up and try to deal with my money with tattoos all over the place. That's just me.
Yeah, you're making yourself basically unemployable. If you want to make some real money, now if you want to go work in a warehouse, hey, you got the perfect appearance to do that.
And I'm not hating on people who got tattoos. I got trees. I got 3 tattoos. But you won't know it unless I show them to you.
Right.
Because
Now, real quick,
mm-hmm.
remember when I had to transfer money to you at your Chase Bank, and I went all over the damn city?
Yeah.
But every transaction when I went to a different person, even though I'm upset because it shouldn't be that hard to do it, I took a deep breath. Remember, I would call you,
Yeah.
and the new person, I would take a deep breath, and I would go in there because it isn't fair to that person that I'm angry. They don't know what's going on in the transaction. So as a customer, if I'm doing my part, coming in there, hey, how are you? I'm trying to get this. How are you today? Well, I'm having a bad time. I just went from over here to over here, and they told me to come here. And I'm talking at level, you know, people that know customer service, they know how to de-escalate my situation.
There you go. You hit the nail on the head with the de-escalation. Come on with the de-escalation.
That's the de-escalation, yes.
Because you're right. When people come in there, first of all, when you're working customer service, now we really have a master class here, okay?
Okay.
When you work in customer service, rule number one, I think should be don't take it personally.
Right.
Those people don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't put they put the hands on you. Okay. But they don't know you. And to your point, Donovan, they don't know that you went to 200 and 300 and 400 other banks and you got the runaround.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time you get to them, you're
and I was.
but they should already know. I'm not gonna take this personally. I don't know that man. I don't know what he's been through. And so if you were to come to me and you say, oh my God, motherfucker, you know what, Mr. Sadiq, I totally understand how you feel. And I hate that happened to you. Let me see what I can do. Okay, now I might already in my mind know those 400 other banks were right. But I'm not going to tell you that. You know why?
Right.
Because I at least want you to
feel
that she cared enough about me to, for one, understand where I was coming from and at least try to find me a yes somewhere.
Right.
Even
Absolutely.
though I knew the answer was no, he don't need to know that. No, I can't.
Exactly. And then,
can't do it.
And when I worked at the airlines part time, and I was a manager in the airlines, and I'm dealing with all kinds of crazy people and stuff like that. And I would say that I would tell my employees, my customer service people at the front, when a customer comes in, let them vent. Sometimes they just want to be heard.
Period.
That's it.
You ain't got to cut them off like they was right. You can't. You just like you said. Damn, they didn't watch who see their ass all over town. Let them at least vent to you and say, "This is what happened to me."
Exactly. And I had said that when I tried to do that money transfer, and the one girl, she was like, "Oh," because I was looking for the one money order they wanted me to get because I didn't know Chase Bank didn't take cash.
Because it's actually due to the Patriot Act.
Yeah, during the Patriot Act, they don't want you funding money and all that other stuff. So but as a layman customer, I wouldn't know that.
But the problem with that, Donovan, is the first person that turned you away should have made sure you stayed there long enough to thoroughly understand why they couldn't do it.
Right. No. She explained thoroughly why she couldn't do it, but I was just like, okay, what do I do? How would I do this? So it was about getting the money order. So I'm running around trying to get one money order when that last person that I went through, like you were saying, she listened to me venting because I'm at this point. Remember, I kept calling. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
I kept saying, don't worry about it right now.
Yeah. The one girl said, look, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, wow. Well, I can't give you one money order, but I can break it into two. Would you mind paying 50 cents for this? And then I was like, no problem. Problem solved. We could have done that the first time that
But you were running across people who did not want to do the job. And that's the problem, right? Yep. And I would say, and listen, y'all, watching, I know somebody going to get in their feelings. Anybody who knows Demetra K will tell you I ain't one of those people that just be firing shots unnecessarily. I would say...
You ride for the cause. You ride for your sisters. That's for damn sure.
I will say this. And I would say that the last 10 transactions that I had with sisters, 9 of them were horrible. And I am not messing around.
Now let me ask you this real quick. Coming from California, and I know things are different here than they are in Houston, do you think it's possible the area that you're in, because there's more Black people there than there was when you were in California?
I think this is ubiquitous, which means it's everywhere. Because even when I was in California, I got Black women horror customer service stories. I just do. And I hate to say that, yes, I've had bad customer service from other people, but the sisters, they just put a little extra Lowry's on it. And I'm like, why? Why are you this way?
Right.
Most of my life, I've worked in customer service to some degree, whether it was McDonald's as a teenager, to Walmart in my early 20s, to in my 40s, a personal banker. Okay, I'm in customer service now, even though I work for myself.
Yeah. But let me ask you this real quick, though. like me, I'm not a customer service person. I can do it. Don't get me wrong, but I know myself. I'll pull you from over the counter. You know what I mean? I know. So that ain't a job that I'm going to aspire to do. But as a manager, sometimes I have to come up there and deal with an irate customer, like especially on the airlines. That is the if you ever see the show Airline with Southwest, people will show up 15 minutes before a flight and expect you to put them on the plane, and like it doesn't work that way.
Open the door. You need
Right,
to
right.
open the door.
Or yeah, or there's a plane delay because of weather. I had to literally tell one lady after she's yelling and spitting on me. This is before all the pandemic stuff happened early in the early 2000s. I said, "Ma'am, do you want to get there alive or do you want to get there dead?" I said, "That's how serious it is. You're
I
here."
don't care. I just want to get on the plane.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's my birthday, and I hate to say this, a lot of some of the worst, like you said, some of the worst people I have dealt with have been either super rich, the oligarchs, or the ghetto poor that don't understand and don't want to understand. Because I looked at the one lady, a quick story. I was like, "Ma'am, if you got all this money, do you know who I am?" That's the famous thing. I said, "If you got all this money, why aren't you at the private side of the airport getting a private jet instead of dealing with this us us serfs?"
So
You know what I mean?
plain.
Right, us serfs and whatever we are, these lower things, whatever. But while you were talking, I took some notes and
Oh, it must
remember,
be serious. You took some notes.
yeah, I took some notes because I want you to remember when you used to elbow me into the ribs and all this other stuff. Wasn't Donovan talking about this 3 or 4 years ago? When remember, I used to say you would see black women showing up to work with their fists already balled. It's not even 7:30 in the morning. Now we complain about we don't get hired, we don't do this, right? Now you got a job. Okay, you've had the job. I don't know how long that lady's been on the job, whatever. But if you don't like your job, hurry up and get another one.
That's too much like right though. Because
Yeah.
I agree with you. I worked at Walmart
Yeah.
when I was 22. No, I was
Mhm.
21. I was about to be
Mhm.
22. 21. And that was probably the worst job I've ever had. From dealing with management to customers.
Mhm.
I, it, I, the, I worked in a snack bar when Walmart had snack bars.
Yeah, snack bars.
I went on break. And when I came back, a skinny white man that had a biker's uniform on, like he was biking, like bicycling, he storms up to the counter and he has this bitten pizza, that little round personal pizza that was bitten
Yeah.
into.
Mhm.
Who served me meat? I'm a vegetarian. I haven't had meat in my mouth for 15 years.
Right.
It wasn't me. I always just came
Right.
from work. But instead of saying, "Well, shit, what you telling me for? I didn't give it to
Mhm.
you," I was like, "I'm so sorry. I don't know who did that to you." But what can you really say to somebody who that's happened to, right?
Yeah, but aren't you supposed to look before you leap?
I mean, yeah, some people shouldn't be eating out,
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't just bite into something without looking at it. I don't,
Because he thought he
whatever.
was getting a cheese pizza, but underneath, because some of the
Yeah.
little pizzas have a little pepperoni
Yeah.
that's kind of underneath.
Yeah.
So he assumed he was getting a cheese pizza,
Mistake. It's an honest mistake, maybe.
but he was so pissed. I
Yeah.
thought he was so mad that he was going to snatch me over the counter. And I was like, "I'm so sorry that happened to you."
Wait a minute. For all my listeners, does this not sound familiar? There was a movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Remember that scene?
Vaguely.
This isn't the best burger I ever had, Brad, and I'd like a refund. Well, sir, I got to get some papers and all this other
Oh,
stuff.
hell no. No.
Remember that scene? And he was
I
like,
vaguely.
"Did you curse at this customer?" "Well, he called me a moron, Dennis." "You're fired." He was
But see, I understood. I would have been mad too.
Mhm.
But in the other side of my mind, I was like, "Well, you shouldn't be eating out of you. I mean, you coming to
Yeah.
Walmart and trusting people who don't want to be in to feed you." Whoever served it to him was probably like,
right.
"Didn't want to be here. You trusted us."
Right now, let's think about this. Where else do we see that kind of attitude on a daily basis? Just walking about in public. What other organization do you see that? And we pay them our tax dollars.
Restaurants?
No, tax
Oh,
dollars.
B&B?
No, the police department. That's their
Oh,
attitude. You know, I got a badge. It's like a
but you know what
universal.
though? They got
Mhm.
a superior too.
Right, exactly, and that's where I was going with that. You know, but like you always say, there's an appeal to authority. We always think because the guy got the badge, okay, I'm just going to bow down, whatever. No, he's not supposed to talk to you a certain way. They're supposed to protect and serve and integrate, whatever their little slogans are, whatever your
Hmm.
community is. And you have a right to see the supervisor, right? But of course, cops back each other up. And sometimes, if you go on YouTube, sometimes you'll even see the auditing things that are going on. And it's funny, you the guy is being his rights are being violated, and the supervisor comes and helps violate the guy's rights. But then you keep going higher and higher because there's another person above that person, then there's another person above that person until you get to the mayor and whoever. You just don't stop until you're satisfied that something's going to be done. And usually when I address police officers in that aspect, I don't, like you said, I don't want to get them fired. I've got family in law enforcement. But the thing is, if they're taught that way, maybe they don't know no better. They think they're supposed to act that way.
You know what? The question that you ask when you do get the corporate,
Hmm.
you tell them your situation. You say, "So what I want to know is this how y'all train
Yeah.
your customer service reps to act?" Of course, they're gonna say, "Oh no." Because I don't know, I thought I should call y'all and let y'all know how horrible and I thought maybe that was something that you guys train them, how you train them to act.
Excuse me, is your last name K? Demetri K? Yes, they're trained correctly. Yes.
Right,
Yes,
right.
for you, yes.
And and again, I'm not picking on black women because I am one, but we got to tell the truth, goddammit. We got to tell the truth
So
because
wait. So what are you saying? So what are you saying in regards to black women?
I'm
Are you saying
saying
that there's an epidemic of this type of attitude?
an epidemic is close.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you know what? It might even be a pandemic. Okay.
Okay. Right.
But
Right.
I just feel like
Because I
think
hear
I'm
this from
getting
a lot of older women too. Like you could go into Popeye's chicken. I mean, these young black, they're either on their phone. They're not professional in their job. That's
just
50%.
horrible.
Yeah.
But just horrible. And
And the men ain't that much better. The younger men ain't that much better. But go ahead.
no, but you know what? I'm gonna say this, and y'all can get mad at me. I can't think of one time. I put it this way: the bad customer service from brothers that if I did have it wasn't that memorable for me to say. I remember one time. I got stories of sisters in customer service that their behavior is just deplorable.
Well, Dimitri, do you think it's because you're a female, and when a female comes in kind of cute, got a little shade,
I wasn't even cute today. I had my beanie on.
well, like some women are naturally beautiful. You're one of them.
I just think with us,
Mhm.
I think we have some sort of a familiarity, if you will.
Sure.
And maybe she's an idiot like me, so I could just talk to her any kind of way. Because you don't know, I might have been screwing one of the Waltons. I might have been a secret shopper. You don't know who I could have been from corporate.
Right.
And
OSHA. You could have been from OSHA.
Yeah, and we don't do that. She don't do that. What if I was just, I just uppercutted you right there.
I mean, but are you absolutely sure she wasn't doing that to be like friendly type?
No,
kind of like, okay.
Because like I said, Deanna, come here for a second. My daughter was in the back of customer service laughing. Like, are you serious? Deanna, I need you to raise your right hand to the screen to attest and testify to what I said about what happened to me in Walmart today. That was her right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
was
she
it horrible?
was like, you can't make this up. I said, because if I had came home and told you that happened to me, you'd have been like, you shouldn't.
Right. Now, so basically you're saying that you want to apologize to me for saying that 4 years ago? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? I would concede to your point that there is a larger problem than it being isolated. Okay. I do, because my daughter, as a matter of fact, went to Kroger's 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And what did you need? Some water? She needed to get some water, but it was in a place she couldn't reach it. Mm-hmm. And what did the lady, it was sister, what did she tell you? I don't know how they get that down. I don't know how they going to get that down. She said the white man behind her says, "I'll get it for you." She
Yeah,
said that's
yeah.
how bad her attitude was. Like, well, shit, I don't tell you.
Well, remember, I worked at Walmart. I was in the sporting section as a supervisor, whatever you call that shit back in the day. Always worked a second job while in the military, you guys. I had child support payments to deal with. All right. So remember, they used to teach you if you're going to be in retail, if a customer comes up to you, whatever, you take them to the product. Don't just point.
Yes.
You
Yes.
take them to the product.
Mhm.
Whatever happened to stuff like that? That's what I'm saying. It's like, so you got the job and now you're going to put yourself in a position to be fired because
It's
you
down
gave
there
bad
on
customer
9.
service? Yeah.
It's down there on aisle
Yeah.
9.
Yeah,
Because
you're
you're
supposed
right.
to take them.
When we worked at Walmart, that was the rule. Somebody asked you for something, even if you were going on break, you take that break after you're done taking them to it.
Yeah.
Because what they wanted to avoid was them searching all over the place. And it was supposed to act that creme de la creme of customer service. Not only am I going to tell you where it is, I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right.
Which fast forward 30 years later, stores don't do that anymore because they're constantly resetting the store so that you're going to stay in there longer. So if you guys have ever wondered why is it every like 2 or 3 months you go into the store and they've reset everything, it's because they want you to stay in the store longer, and you're more likely to buy more.
Right, you go in for a tomato, and then you come out with $100 more stuff.
Yeah, more stuff, and that's why. And all the retail stores are doing that. They keep resetting and they keep resetting because once you get used to the store, they want you to keep searching.
Absolutely. And so, again, I'm not saying this to be mean. I ain't like all these other people in Donovan that be firing on black women. And
but am I firing something that's correct? I mean, I'm not correct, but you know what I mean? Am I pointing out something that is obviously there's a problem?
In this instance, yes, you're correct. Okay.
Because you hit me in the ribs after the show. You guys look on the video. Go to Demetra K on YouTube, and you will see her got me up against the wall, just giving me uppercuts and just How dare you talk about black women?
I did a mama pain on you. I'm gonna take you in, and then I'm gonna take you there.
Yeah, I'm serious. She was defending Sistas to the end, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm telling you my experience. Wake up, you will see black women, seriously, and it's something in our community. You will see them just getting to work. The day hasn't even started yet, and they are already pissed off.
I went somewhere with somebody the other day, early in the morning, and we tried to make an order or whatever. They jacked the order up.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8:15 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
On the intercom. How can I help you? So we ordered. Is that all?
Yeah.
And so the person I was with was like, now you know that was a sister.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you ain't get to tell me twice. He said, she acted like she don't want to be here. I said, well, it's pretty early. She probably really don't, but damn.
But that's your job. That's your job.
Is that all?
It's funny, but real quick, this is a real story, life and death. I was at a VA appointment. Now, you guys know that I'm very active in my community here in California, very politically active. And so I went to my appointment because it's my provider, my general practitioner guy, just checking up on my vitals and just the basics, right? Got to wait 6 months for this guy. So I go and I'm sitting there waiting, in the waiting room, whatever, and I'm cool. Everything's good. Now you guys know when I roll around the Inland Empire, this is Southern California, we got some really bad cops out here. So I have a body camera on me at all times. I have a body camera on me because I want my friends and my mama and everybody to know how I died. Right? The truth. I wanted to know the truth. So I'm sitting and waiting, but sometimes I have the body camera on because I only use it when I'm dealing with cops. I don't really, have to do a body camera when I'm dealing with regular people.
Or when you're rolling up at City Hall.
Yeah, or City Hall, government officials. Right, city officials. And so I'm sitting there. Now, remember, sometimes you got stuff on and you're not paying attention because it's not on. I'm not worried about it. I'm reading a book and I'm looking at my messages. So I get called into the back. And the lady takes my vitals. So, white Karen. And Karen is this, and she's taking my vitals and stuff. And she goes, is that a camera? I said, because I was like, what are you talking about? I looked down. Yes, it's my body. I said, yeah, this is a camera. Oh, you can't take my picture without my permission, whatever. I just said, well, ma'am, that's not true, but let's continue. I'm not here for that. Let's continue. Well, no, seriously, sir, you can't do that. I said, ma'am, is that a camera up there? Is that a camera over there? You got cameras all over the place, right? No, and it's unfortunate. She doesn't know the thing. I said, well, ma'am, I will bet you $1 to a donut. This is my health care. I have every right to film my health care. Now, if you don't want to be filmed and you don't want to service me, then go find somebody that will. So I didn't want to get an argument with her or whatever. And Karen just kept going on like, no, you can't film me. You're wrong. You're breaking the law, whatever. I said, okay, I'm done with this. Could give me a supervisor or somebody else, whatever. So I go out there, and I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm about to say. A black woman who is obviously her supervisor or somebody above her. She's in some position above her. She hears the commotion that's going on, and I come out and I said, look, I didn't come here for this. Can I get somebody else? I'm having a problem here. I'm as calm as can be, okay? I'm not upset. I'm just saying, look, this ain't going to work out. Get me somebody. They say, sure, no problem. Please step out here and go back into the waiting area. So I go in the waiting area, and I'm sitting there, and I sat there for about 40 minutes, okay? Now, I could hear Karen calling the VA police. She's calling the VA police. I'm thinking, well, she can't be calling for me because I haven't done anything, right? Maybe it's something else. I don't know. I couldn't hear it, kind of muffled.
Right.
So 40 minutes later, the VA police come out, and I'm like this, hold up. Trying to hit the camera on. Hit the camera on.
Right.
Right? And the guy came out. He's a sergeant. And he says, hey, I'm Sergeant so-and-so. We explained to her what was going on, blah, 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 right? You have every right to film. This is a public building. It's funded, whatever. The guy understood the Constitution. I said, okay. I said, but I didn't call for you. I didn't want to explain myself because it's like, well, what, he just gave me his card. Said, look, there's nothing wrong. You have every right to do what you want to do.
Right.
So I go back in, and it's Karen. She's trying to take my vitals again. I said, oh, no. I don't want to deal with you. Get me somebody else. But here's what I want you guys to listen to. The black woman heard her calling the police on me. A brother. I didn't do anything. I'm as calm as can be. And this woman did, instead of her saying, oh, what are you calling the police for? What's going on here? No, don't call the police for that. He didn't do anything. Think about how that situation would have turned out.
If it was some cops with the rah-rah.
Right, with the rah-rah. Think about this. I want you guys to remember this. When you're in a VA facility, you're in a facility full of trained killers. That is not a place to make a constitutional point. Okay?
Right.
So I wasn't there for that. Okay? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I said, why was the police called? I'm talking to the sister. Look, all of a sudden, come on, sister, you're the supervisor here. I said, I want to talk to somebody and put in a complaint. I said, is that your procedure? That when somebody, I said, I just want to know. If a black man asks for a supervisor, calmly, whatever, is the procedure to call the police? I want to know what the procedure is.
Especially since you weren't wrong.
Right. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So the procedure is to call the police. Would you have done that if that was a white man? Or what I mean? I don't want to make it racial, but what I'm saying is,
it's real. She probably
what is the procedure when a patient asks for somebody else to do their vitals or whatever? But see how quick the sister defended the Karen? She wasn't doing her job protecting me, and then they were trying to talk about HIPAA. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, here's how HIPAA works. The onus of HIPAA is not on you. It's on them.
Correct.
That's what HIPAA is about. They have to protect private information.
Correct.
But again, I wasn't there recording. My camera was not on. I was there for my
appointment. Even if it was. A federal building belongs to everybody.
Exactly. And, and it's my health record, so I have everything to court. But I wasn't doing that. But my point is this. Here's the sister whose job it was to supervise her subordinates. And I'm a black man. She knew what this lady was calling the police and did nothing.
She just let it go down.
She just let it go down. Very sad. Very sad.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again.